Hi, my name is Chanel McCool, and I am a follower and lover of Jesus. I am a wife to an amazing husband. I'm a mother to two beautiful daughters, and I am an intentional friend. And I have felt for some time that I'm supposed to just make some videos to kind of share with you the wisdoms that I have learned throughout my life, to maybe share with you the struggles and the trials that I've endured and the way that I have overcome and the ways that I'm currently overcoming, because life is a process. You are in an ever existing process in life, and I have just felt for some time to share things. I was actually in a missionary organization for quite a few years, and oftentimes people perceived me as being extroverted, but I am actually extremely introverted, and even doing this video makes me a tad nervous. And so with that said, I just wanted to share that because where my thoughts generally flourish is in the written form, and so where I'm most comfortable is writing down my thoughts before expressing them verbally. And so I'm probably going to, while making these videos, read notes and hopefully expound upon them as I go. And I also want this space to be one where you're safe to ask questions, you're safe to make comments. I don't act as if I know it all. I am still very much a learner, and so if there are others that feel led to give me their insight, I welcome that. So the first topic that I wanted to, I suppose, just talk about is this idea, this truth that you were created to belong. And so I believe that you were created by a God in perfect community, with a perfect sense of belonging within himself. I believe he is God. I believe he is Jesus. I believe he is Holy Spirit. So you were created literally from community, for community. Regardless if you come from a broken family, like myself, I came from a broken family. You came from the womb of a woman, which is evidence that you were created to belong safely among others. And again, I understand that many of you may have not had that upbringing, or maybe many of you don't even have that now. I can relate to that. Both my parents were drug addicts. My father ended up leaving, and my mom was pretty inconsistent throughout the course of my life. And so I can relate to that. And so maybe you came from a family that didn't have vision or even a desire for family. But even with that said, it does not negate that you were created to always exist, to always live, and to always be a part of community with others. The definition of community is actually just a group of people living in the same place or having particular characteristics in common, or it's a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. So you were literally hardwired to love. You were hardwired to be loved, and you were hardwired to belong. It is why God created families. It is why God desires for children to be born into loving marriages. If you don't come from a place where you feel you are loved, or you don't have a sense of belonging, what's going to happen is one of two things. You're either you're going to try and convince yourself that you don't need it. You're going to try and convince yourself that you don't need connection. And in return, what's going to happen is you're going to actually numb an innate part of yourself, which will eventually lead you to lose the ability to empathize with yourself and others. And I believe that you can't selectively numb feelings of hurt and pain without numbing joy and love. Or two, what's going to happen is you're going to try and create an artificial form of connection which will lead you to give of yourself and your soul in a way that will completely deteriorate the very person that you are and you were created to be. And so by that I mean, maybe you go around and you're sleeping with multiple partners because you actually desire connection. Or maybe you're actually just sitting here and making YouTube videos, or you're living your life vicariously through social media outlets. What you're going to do is you're going to try and create artificial forms of connection, but it's not actually offering you a true sense of belonging, because belonging is actually the act of being vulnerably seen by others and accepted wholeheartedly. So no shame, no condemnation, no uncertainty that you are loved. That is what belonging is. And you were created for it. You were created for connection. And so if you go without connection, or try and convince yourself you don't need it, or you don't know how to obtain it, then what's going to happen is you're going to try and get connection through these two avenues. And both of them are actually a result of lack of genuine connection within your life. But both are actually evidence of the absolute need of connection. And so I love that, because I feel like even in our lives, right? So maybe maybe you're the number one, or maybe you're the number two, where you're trying to convince yourself you don't need connection, or you're the other, where you're so deprived of connection that you're willing to connect with anything and anyone that could possibly make you feel that. Both are actually evidence that you were designed for it. If a fish was meant to swim in the ocean and you decided for some reason that you wanted to dress it up like a zebra, does it change its intended purpose? No. Regardless of how you came into this life or how you were treated when you did come into this life, it does not change God's intended purpose for you to feel loved, for you to belong, and for you to freely love. If you're in a place in your life, or you're surrounded by people in your life that don't make you feel like you belong, I'm here to share with you some truth. You have a right to feel secure in your belonging, and you have a right to feel loved, and you have a right to freely love. In fact, I believe that it's your birthright. One of my most favorite things about God is His grace and His mercy. When I came into relationship with Him, I was born again, and I was born into a new family, and I came from a broken family, and I hope one day to share in more detail about the brokenness that I came from. But He restored that. He called me into a new family. He called me into relationship and connection with Himself and with others. And so disconnection, it doesn't have to just be the beginning or the middle or even the end of your life. It can be something that has existed in your life, but something that you are walking out of. And so, yeah, I'm here to share with you and let you know that you have a right to belong, and that you are called into connection. And if you feel in your life disconnected from others, and I'm not talking about where you just meet with friends for coffee and they know facts about your life, but I'm talking about a genuine connection where you are vulnerably seen before others and the entirety of who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly. And unless you're in a place where you've allowed yourself to be that, and you know what? Some people are even married and they don't even allow for their spouse to see them in that state. And if you don't, what's going to happen is it's going to continue to breed disconnection. And what's going to happen is you're either going to numb yourself to the need for connection, or you're going to create artificial connection. So I'm here to tell you that it's possible, from somebody who lived her life extremely disconnected with others with the perception that I was connected, I'm here to tell you that it's possible, that there is hope, that you can be connected, that you can safely belong, that you can love, and that you can be loved for who you are. So thank you for listening. I hope that this just blessed people, and I hope what it did for you was just offer you hope that you don't have to go through life aimlessly disconnected, that you were called to be connected. And yeah, if you have any questions, any insight, again, I'd love to hear it. And if you feel led to share this video with others, I just give you permission to do that. So yeah, I hope to make a video again.